So this week we're going to be a little bit spicy. I at least think it's spicy. You might not, but yeah, this is spice as far as I'm concerned. I want to talk about women leadership, and the support of women leadership. And then, I want to bring it back home and give you the reason why I'm talking about this. But hi, and welcome to Touch Base with Build One SA. Let's have a conversation. So we are living in exciting times. And I feel like it's, perpetually exciting times to be in the world, and that's a good thing. We have the US elections that are coming up, and it has been an exciting campaign, a hotly contested campaign, controversies here and there. But what's most exciting about it is that we have the opportunity to, for the first time, potentially see the first American female president, and that's Kamala Harris. And, the conversation I want to have is about supporting women leaders and supporting women candidates in politics. We are yet in South Africa to have our own female president, and I really do think we have had phenomenal women who could have led this country really, really well. And we've missed the opportunity with some of them, but I still think we have an opportunity. We have the opportunity now to support the kind of woman that we believe could one day lead this country. Now, back to the United States. I want to say this first. I support Kamala Harris, and I want to share the reasons why I support Kamala Harris. And the reasons why I want to share this is because what I want to talk about is that I don't believe we should support women leaders simply for being women. I believe that we need to create environments, whether it's in workplaces, whether it's in political parties, whether it's in organizations, whether it's in society, that are conducive for women to lead and thrive. It's what I've tried to do in Build One SA. It's what I'm intentional about doing in Build One SA. For example, we don't have a women's league. I'm not saying we never will, but we don't now. And the reason for that is because I have wanted to see women leading in Build One SA in the mainstream leadership first. And they have, and they have organically found space to lead in the organization and found voice in the organization. And I think that my job is to make sure that it's an organization that is conducive for women. It's an organization that attracts women. I think that's what we need to be doing everywhere. So I support Kamala, not just because she's a woman. I support Kamala because she has put her voice towards championing many causes over the years that are important to minorities in America, to women in America as a start. The second is that, when you look at her policies, particularly her economic policies, they are policies that would be good not just for America, but also for many countries that are associated and have relationships and agreements with America, such as ours, but also that when America thrives, there's always great opportunity for the rest of the world. So some of the policies that I think are great that Kamala Harris has is investment in infrastructure. She's advocated for substantial investment in infrastructure to boost local economies and also to improve critical services, particularly also to minority communities as well. Second, she's a great advocate for small businesses and for the support and growth of small businesses. And I will always be someone who gets behind the development of small businesses and the growth of small businesses, because I believe that that's where actually the core of many economies sits. But also that it gives opportunity for people who would have ordinarily not been able to thrive economically to do so. Kamala's a great advocate for small businesses, and she's been vocal about supporting small businesses, and these are significant job creators in the US economy. The small business agenda is something that's close to my heart, and so I've been in the States and visited a number of institutions that are about the development of entrepreneurship and small business, and there is more to be done there. And there just is such a thriving small business community that needs support, and that we could actually have great partnerships within South Africa and in other parts of the world. So I believe that that's a great reason to support Kamala Harris. Thirdly, she has a focus on healthcare access for everyone, and that is important. We know that we've had debates, and we are still having debates in our own country about NHI, but just about the importance of universal healthcare and democratizing healthcare for South Africans. I think it's as important in any part of the world, and so that's a good reason to support Kamala Harris. And fourthly, she's in support of workforce development and access to education, making sure that Americans, young Americans, all Americans have access to higher education institutions, and making sure that America starts to develop skills for the workplace. And lastly, she has tax policies that favor the middle class, and of course, supporting tax reforms that are designed to alleviate burdens on middle class families is something that's important. And it's something that I think I would support in South Africa if it was part of a campaign that anybody had. So those are my 5 reasons for supporting Kamala. Now, having said all this, where there are people who are women who look and think, these are not the policies that I want to support. I'm not convinced. This doesn't convince me. I believe that there should be space for women to say, it's okay, they don't support the woman candidate, and if they happen to support Trump, then it's fine. And so I believe that if there are women that don't back Kamala Harris's policies, that aren't convinced and want to support Trump, then it's fine. Let them support Trump. But the point I'm making is that we shouldn't have to support a woman just because she's a woman. And I think it's a very, very dangerous thing to do. I think that our job and our role is to make sure that we make it possible for women to be able to run for presidency like Kamala Harris has been able to. I think that our job, our role as women, is to play our part along with men to create environments and to create societies where it is possible for a woman to run for presidency in the way that Kamala has. I think that our role is to be able to champion women candidates that we support and that we believe in, and just women leadership as a whole, and to advocate for women leadership. But to have to support a woman even when you don't agree with their leadership, when you don't agree with their policies, when you're not convinced by them, I don't believe that that is how we should approach women leadership, and there are dangers to that. And I say this, and I'll give an example of it and give context, to some work I've been doing and that I want to share with you here in South Africa, and that's around small business development. As many of you will know, I sit on the Small Business Development Portfolio Committee, along with other portfolio committees that I sit on, including Trade and Industry, Basic Education, and Water and Sanitation. And the Small Business Development Portfolio Committee has been one of great, great, great frustration. And a big reason for that is because we have a department that is not delivering on its mandate. You have reports that are glowing. You are seeing presentations that are glowing, led by a minister, Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, who is a woman. And now I can't sit here and support Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams' work just because she's a woman, when she's failing the small businesses of this country, the backbone of this country's economy, the dreams and aspirations of so many people, of which many of them are actually women. And that's the point that I'm getting to. We sit with a small business development department that is failing young people in this country, that is failing Black people in this country, that is failing white people in this country, that is failing women and men in this country. And that is a problem, particularly for those groups of the population that are already disadvantaged, like young people, like Black people, like women. It's an issue. So here are the 3 critical issues in this department. The first is this. One of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs and for young people is access to finance. What government should be doing is underwriting this finance more than they are. It should not be that the criteria you have to get finance is similar to that of a commercial bank from an institution that sits in the Department of Small Business Development. What we have is SIFA, the Small Enterprise Finance Agency having only reached 30% of its target in the past financial year. 30%. While we have so many South Africans that are struggling to get financed for their businesses. Here's the second issue. You have a department that has the opportunity to provide not only financial support, but significant non-financial support. And that is in the way of training, that is in the way of development. So you have a department that has the incubation program, which when you look at it is an opportunity to be able to support small businesses with not only just training and mentorship, but also with just the kind of environment that is conducive for businesses at infancy stage to get ready to be able to grow and scale. But what you have when you take a closer look is incubators, private incubators that are run privately, that are being funded by the department. And there are a few of them that are doing great work, but there's a majority of them, having done oversight visits recently, that are actually just there doing tick box exercises where you can't see the impact that they've had on these businesses. And what it looks like really is just an opportunity or another pipeline to be able to award contracts and tenders to friends who own incubation programs or incubation companies. Really, in so many instances, in too many instances, that's what it looks like it comes down to. Because at the end of the day, even when you have conversations with those who run these incubation programs, they're not able to tell you tangibly what is the impact your program has. They're able to tell you, we deliver so many training programs over such a period to so many entrepreneurs, and not really what the impact is and what happens when they come out of those programs and how ready they are to be able to scale their businesses or to be able to even stabilize and sustain their businesses coming out of those programs. And that is a missed opportunity. Lastly, we have an opportunity, and actually we have a responsibility to develop businesses in the townships and the rural areas of this country. And there are programs that sit within the department that are supposed to be doing that. But when you actually try to get a sense of tangibly what is happening, there is nothing that is localized or specialized for townships or for rural areas in order to be able to build businesses in those areas that respond to the needs that are in townships. There isn't a sense of working together even with trade and industry to make sure that the environment is conducive, that there's digital infrastructure, as an example. There just isn't a sense of a commitment to making sure that the businesses that sit in townships, businesses that sit in rural areas, are able to grow beyond what we see now. What we have really actually is a disdain for those businesses. You don't have an imagination that says, let's build factories. Let's build research institutions. Let's build creative hubs. There is no imagination and there is no political will to be able to make those businesses more than what we see them as they are now. The minister is quite content with setting up KPIs that you're able to tick without having real and tangible impact. We want to see impact. The impact we want to see is, first of all, how many jobs are these businesses that are being supported creating? We want to see what is the sustainability of these businesses? What is the growth of this business? How has the performance of this business grown? We want to see more young, youth-owned, innovative businesses that are genuinely being supported through finance and through other means. That's what we want to see in this department. And that's part of the work that I'm going to continue to do and I'm going to drive in that portfolio committee. We as a portfolio committee have just submitted our reports, our budget review recommendation reports. And in that report, we have outlined all of these issues. My own commitment is to make sure that the next annual performance plan has the kind of KPIs that will ensure that we have impact, that will ensure that we have the outcomes that I've spoken about that really make a difference in the lives of small businesses and in the lives of South Africans. And lastly, no, we will not support women and accept not even mediocre kind of work, but also accepting the sabotage of small businesses and of young people and entrepreneurs in this country. That's not something that I can support. And we're going to make sure that we get the right kind of leader and the right kind of minister in this department if this one doesn't deliver. And if it's a woman, even better, a capable woman that we can all be proud of and that we can back. So as always, I still look forward and am reading all of your emails that you send, responding to them and looking into some of the issues that you raise. It's nwebster@parliament.gov.za.